Welcome to Victoria 2, Heart of Darkness. This is another Paradox game, and much like the grand strategy games of Crusader Kings 2 or Europa Universalis, this is a game about conquests and, global manipulation on a world scale. Anyhow, so this game takes part in basically the time of the great powers vying for power in Europe and the formation of the United States and stuff like that. The time period is between 1836 and 1936. So basically, you'll cover the time of the Great Wars and the colonization of Africa, the conquest of Korea and much of Chinese by Japan and stuff like that. That's the time period, though. Stuff that some of it will probably happen, though not maybe all of it. We may not see Japan conquering around over here. They might just say a sort of civilized bunch and not try and conquer everyone, but who knows what they'll do. So the game can be started at two different points. In 1836, you're basically starting sort of at the turn of the century when Belgium has just started to industrialize. The United Kingdom, I think, is started to industrialize, and another country starting to industrialize. You can also go to a House Divide, which basically takes you up to 1861. That's when, of course, the CSA is popping out of the United States, to declare their civil war. Slavery and all that, had to try and keep it. Had to go to war over it. But anyhow, we're going to start in the Grand Campaign. And I'm basically going to try and give you, the gist of this game. I'm not, shall we say, going to try and, be, the greatest power ever. So, try and take a nation, make it, the greatest power. But I'm just going to try and give you, the gist of, various aspects of the game and just go from there. And I'm thinking the best play of doing that would be with Persia here. Persia starts off as an uncivilized nation, so basically, they aren't the Western nations over here. They're not as technology advanced yet. And I'll be able to show you off a little bit about, the uncivilization aspect and then some of the civilization aspect after, because Persia's actually strong enough that after they civilize, they can be a world player, sort of. So here's Persia. They start bordering off with the Ottoman Asia over here and the Russian Empire up there. They also have two, over here on their eastern flanks, they have Khiva, Afghanistan, Kalat, and Makran. So, Persia is basically, how can I put this? They're not exactly, very technologically superior to, say, the Western nations, but they're not entirely as bad off as a lot of nations, to the east of them. For example, if I look at the politics screen here, so I'll note that with uncivilized nations, this is, probably more of a challenge play, I guess we'll say. But basically, uncivilized nations, they start off having to basically reform their political structure. So basically, they can start a westernization process where they basically gain technologies and sort of, come up to a level to compete with the other nations like United Kingdoms and France and all that. They start off, these guys, with a little bit of reformations done. So they have import weapons. So they have actual gunpowder as opposed to spears. They have access to a bunch of nice little stuff over here as well. They have the land reform, and they probably have something else. Enact financial reform. So they have these free texts right here. And over the course of the early game, the main mission more or less is to try and get all this bar up here 40% up to 100% so you can westernize, which basically gives you a boost to import weapons, land reforms, and stuff like that. They basically have up here. Now, I'll note that Victoria 2 is a very complicated game, and, that should not come as a surprise compared to, say, Crusader Kings 2 or Europa Universalis. But unlike, Crusader Kings 2, this is even more complicated than those games are. So this is probably going to be one of the most complicated games I've played. And I'll actually note, I put in 120 hours just playing the game, and I put in, probably an equal amount of time as to that, just trying to learn the game from, YouTube videos. This is a very complicated game. I want to note that I'm not a master of this game. I doubt there's any master of this game, really. And there's lots of mechanics, and it's not exactly, refurbished, to the point of, say, Crusader Kings 2 or Europa Universalis in any ways, Europa Universalis 4, which came out recently. But it's still a very good game, and well, I just hope it'll be Victoria free in the future, because I would like to play this game if it's a little bit more refurbished, because this is a fun game, but it could be better. Lots of mechanics, you know, could be better. I'll say that and leave it at that. Alright, so enough jabbering on. I'll note that at the start of a game, I have to like basically get my research points up, and you do that with clergy. So much like, you know, in the past, the clergy, you know, the people who ran the church, they're the persons who basically did all the education early on. There's no school systems or anything like that, not yet at least, so you basically need to get the clergy to teach up your population, and a way to do that is to encourage them to essentially, you know, do that. So what I'm going to basically do is, I'm basically going to go to my various regions here. I have lots of regions as Persia. And I'm basically going to try and get like a clergyman up to like 2% of the population for all these places. That'll help with my literacy, which is actually really bad. I've only got 7.3 literacy, say, compared to, say, let's see here. I recently played, I think it was Greece, and Greece has like 40% literacy. If you go with Sweden, they have like 8% literacy. So a lot of the Aryan nations are a lot better off technology-wise and literacy-wise and education-wise. So we got a lot of catching up to do. And, you know, a big part of that is getting the literacy up. My military looks pretty good, I think. We basically start off with like a very nice military. We've got a bunch of infantry, so we actually got a military force. Some cavalry too is very nice. And let's see here. I think I'm almost ready to begin. There's just something else I'm forgetting to do. Budget, right. So, I'll note that there's a big economic aspect to this game. And, that can make it very fun and very difficult at the same time. So, right now I'm basically going to just tax the hell of my population and get my tariffs all the way up to maximum here. And, initially, the goal will be more or less just to try to, maximize my education, try and keep my, administration up, you know, pretty good. Knock down military spending somewhat. Actually, no, we're going to actually drop this down, I think, to 50%. I'll get my education in a moment. We're actually going to focus on war. With Persia, you're probably your first objective is trying to hit Afghanistan here. Afghanistan has a really good literacy rate, so it's really important to try and take them on really early. So we're going to justify war against them. I'm going to conquest the entire place. And then we'll go from there, more or less. Now, I'll note that I start with the watch. The territories, basically, much like I guess like other Crusader Kings 2 and Europe, you know, there's actually a supply limits on these like territories. So you have to basically watch so you don't have like too many troops in the territory. So if I click this territory here, it's basically got a supply limit of 15, which basically means I can only have like 15,000 troops, and I'll note that each of these like this number indicates a 1,000 troops. So 9,000 troops are right here, 18,000 troops are right here. I'm basically just going to put 15,000 troops right there for the start. I want to get a lot of troops up to here. So we're just going to have you walk this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. And by the way, if you press shift, you can make your troops go wherever you want them to. So we won't actually make them do that, but you get the idea. You can do that if you want to. You can go up there. Yeah, we'll send that guy right there. So I'll note that in the beginning, I'm just going to position my troops to be like sort of around this area over here. I can actually speed up time a little bit and actually get the game going at this point, I think. And I got alliance offer from Kokand. Now, I'll note at the beginning of the game, as Persia, you really don't want to be accepting alliances from the various guys around you, except maybe Punjab or Sindh, perhaps. Basically, it starts off that a lot of these nations are going to be basically easy targets for conquest from, like, say, Russia, who will probably go after Kokand at some point, or the British India guys over here who may go after Sindh or Punjab. So you have to sort of think a little bit about who you're going to try and ally to. Kokand's not, like, a bad ally by any means, but he's not the greatest ally. So let's get my troops into position here in the various places. And this guy's trying to ally me. So you ally Koken. What's probably going to happen with Bukhara here? They're going to probably get attacked by Khiva. I'm going to say no to that. I don't want to really help him out, I don't think. We'll let him get conquered. Or conquested or whatever else. It'll happen. They can deal with it. And Afghanistan apparently went after these guys up here, apparently. Do they have cores? They do have cores. So right here is actually a core for Afghanistan. So that's how they were able to declare war so fast. Cores are basically like pieces of land that were originally, I guess, owned by the country in question. So Afghanistan actually originally owned this piece of land. I'll note that this actually becomes like a big thing in like politics, especially in Europe. Like, say, look at Greece here. Greece has all this land over here is originally theirs. And what's likely going to happen in this game is that there's going to be a whole lot of crises popping up, especially around here, most likely, in Facilia to begin with. That's like, well, start a whole lot of like, you know, great wars and such, much like in regular history. So you guys can group up. It's actually good that you're going after Bukhara, Afghanistan here, because it actually means that I can go after, these guys won't be weakened as a result. Hopefully. So I'll note, by the way, that you basically have to justify wars against other people. You can't just like, oh, I want that, I'll go declare war immediately. You actually have, much like, everything in like, I guess, the Paradox games, you have to have justification to basically go to war with anyone. And we're basically just producing justification. I'll say producing quotes. Basically, we're trying to do stuff like, say, we're putting like our guys like into their borders and making like do like, say, like these like attacks on our soil, so to speak. I think that's the gist of it. And all of these guys are guys that just built, so that'll be awesome. And I'm doing pretty good with my money apparently, so let's get my my forces to yeah, basically up the budgets a little bit, get more clergymen to come out. Now, note that I'm being very careful with like positioning my soldiers, because the supply limit will really tear into your troops. Basically, if you like put more in like the amount of supply in a province, you'll start losing troops like mad, and that'll really hurt you, because you don't have that. You don't have like unlimited troops. You will run out. And there we go. So now I can go after Afghanistan here. And I'll send you up to Kandahar, I think. We're going to split these guys. We're going to have 12,000 melee go there. Now, the supply limits in Afghanistan are just horrid. Truly horrid. Let's have you go up there. So right now there's the Afghanistan army. I should just go sit there for now. Send these guys over here. I'm probably going to just send a whole bunch of forces at this guy here. Or he's going to come after me, perhaps. We'll see. Let's wait here. See what he does. Okay, he's gonna go after me in Kandahar, apparently. We're gonna move all our troops down here. This will hurt me attrition-wise, but... Oh, so they acquired Western Afghanistan up here. That won't hurt me, like, in being able to conquest them. I'll still be able to conquer all of them. He's not coming over, apparently. Maybe I can entice him to come over. Oh, look at that. They went somewhere else. Well, we'll go over here, I guess. Apparently he's going to leave his troops open for attack, which is great for me. I'm going to basically send more or less all my troops at him right now. If I take out his army stacks one by one, he won't have any forces. And it's better to take him out like one by one if possible. Oh, I'm taking some casualties here, though. He'll go up that way. Oh, he's coming down to hit me over here. So hit these guys down if possible. So in Kabul, I gotta watch out for the guys flanking over here too, but... I might just leave these troops sitting here for now, I guess. They'll be easily crushed if they get attacked, but... I might be able to get into a position where I can squish them. An army. Well, that's convenient. I got that already. Okay, you guys go hit Jalabad. Alright, so I'm being attacked by a bunch of guys. They're probably dead, but hopefully I can kill off his army before he gets away. These are mostly cavalry, so if I take him out, then he won't be able to move around very fast. The conquest of Afghanistan. Alright, excellent. We can hopefully take out the rest of his force with these guys. I'm taking a lot of casualties from all this, but that happens in this game. You'll take lots of casualties. Alright, we squished them. Let's go chase these guys around my army, I guess. Alright, so that's basically it for the Afghanistan army. They don't have anything left. Which means that I basically have open range to siege their entire territory. Which is great. I'm actually going to up my military spending all the way up at this point, I think. Apparently Alman went to Egypt. All this stuff, you know, is probably going to happen in your playthroughs as well. So right now, Egypt's going to be attacked. Basically, the Ottomans have lots of cores. Where's the political? Basically, the Ottoman have cores all over here, and they'll want them back from Egypt, so they'll usually go to war, immediately get them. I think I'm going to afford to speed up time a little bit now, so let's do that. I probably should be splitting up these forces a little bit. Send these guys all the way down to the fire province down here. This will help with attrition, but also with the fact that, well, I suppose we wouldn't help there. This guy's already got, you know, a supply limit of 32. But it'll also help with, like, you know, seeking up all the places really fast. Cool, I'll take more prestige. I'll note that in this game there's a whole lot of ways to basically get score up. Prestige is one of the ways. I'll probably talk a lot about more of this, you know, in the future. That's pretty great. We've almost managed to take out the entirety of Afghanistan. Yep, and it looks like Punjab's being taken away by the British, so that's happening. They're gone. And that's basically it for Afghanistan. We're basically done conquering them. And there we go, I'm a little bit bigger. I've taken all of Afghanistan's land. Now, I'll note that because I conquered him, I actually get a little bit of a bonus to conquering people when I conquer them because of imported weapons here, which is great. So I wanted to start, you know, going and spending on stuff, but I think we'll wait. I'm going to basically probably pick up one of these things here. Military constructions or officer training. I'll probably officer training. So yeah, conquering nations initially in the game. This is a great way to basically build up your technology as an uncivilized nation, and you can basically westernize faster. Let's see here. I'll note that you have decisions in this game. These are like one of the things that make like each faction in the game unique. So here's like one of decisions for Persia. Basically, once you conquer Afghanistan, you'll basically bump up your literacy to over 10%, and that's the request for basically getting this thing established. The Dar Al-Foon, which is basically a modern university type institution. We're basically going to do this, and we'll get some research points from it. And a modifier. Now it'll actually push me over to get stuff like this. So now if I want to get like for an officer training, which means now I'm 50% on my way to westernization instead of 40% was before. Alright, now I'll note that wow, some of these guys are almost dead. You guys, that's a lot. That's a pretty damn bad number. You guys just go send over there. You know what? Let's send over you two. They can go over there. You know, how could I get away possibly of attacking him? And what's going on here? Alright, so right now Koken's apparently trying to fabricate a claim on Bukhara to get the state. So that sometimes happens. Bukhara will probably get attacked by Koken here. That'll be it for them. I could try and, you know, go after them myself, but right now I've been actually really weakened by, like, you know, that war. It's great that I managed to, you know, take out Afghanistan, but it really hurt at the same time. Punjab took a hit there. Not a big one, but it's still a big one nonetheless. For them. Alright, I'm thinking here. Here's the thoughts basically that are coming to mind. I'm thinking that I may want to take like Macrane here. Basically, in this game you have like something called Infinity, and you basically want to avoid going over 25 Infinity, but if you're like at 0 Infinity like this, you really should be invading someone, and it's a waste not to be invading someone, so I have to try and pick a targets. And I'm thinking I'm going to go after Macrane or Abu Dhabi here, because those are really easy targets to hit, and basically get more technology from. And I think Macrane will be the target I'll hit. So justify conquest on them. And basically, yeah, I'll hit them. And this will give me access to a nice little port province, possibly in the future. And you guys probably separate. Hopefully these guys will heal up a little bit. Yeah, look at that. One of these guys healed up very nicely. Okay, you go to... yeah, I'll be fine right there. You know, thinking about... Okay, so I'll note that here we got basically caught, basically trying to make our conquest attempt. So we took Infinity, and Infinity is basically something that'll add up. You don't want to go over 25 Infinity, because bad things happen when you do. But at 8 Infinity, we're okay. You know what? We're actually going to take these guys out. I'm going to basically hold back on saying anyone who's damaged or weak at this point. You can stay. But anyone who's like a red soldier here who might be at risk of disbanding, we're going to basically send them on to relax and, not get involved in this war. Take these guys, merge them. Might as well group these guys up into one army. That's still a big enough army to wreck house with these guys over here, so it's all fine. Apparently I can build more troops. Yeah, we could build more troops. Let's build more infantry. I should probably set a gathering point for these guys too. This is a nice thing about this game. You can basically gather your troops up and, well, basically make them so that they gather up. Let's make them gather right here. Separate these guys right there. Alright, so I can go after Macrane. We'll just do an easy conquest with these guys. We'll take Macrane very easily. Because he only got a small army there. You know, he's already out of the way. Apparently you want my military access. Yeah, sure, I'll give you that. Basically, it's being invaded by Koken. Just Koken, apparently. Okay. Odd. I'll note that I don't think Koken has any, any, like, cores on Bukhara, but just for the simple reason that, he's, so much, weaker as, because of the attack from Afghanistan. They wiped out Afghanistan. They're going after him. Now, I know this is going to take a while, so I'm actually tempted to send my horses. Let's send a couple of these guys over to help out. Sure, you can have access to, I guess. It's a nice little way of getting, a little bit of, little bit of increased, you know, diplomacy with the other guys. You know, get grand military access. All right, so Bella's out of the way. Excellent, fantastic. It should offer me peace, and there we go. So there we go. I've taken Ukraine. I've taken Afghanistan. I think that's a fairly good start, and you know, some good opening moves for the game. I'll probably continue to take on provinces in the future, but for now, I think that's good enough, like, you know, for just starting out for the first episode, and I'll just like start continuing on the next one. So for now, take care.